Good morning and welcome to our daily devotional from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn. Very glad to have you with us on this Wednesday, November the 30th. And as we approach the second Sunday in Advent, we are in the book of Psalms, and chapter 72 is the correct chapter. I read from the incorrect one yesterday, but we are in Psalm 72, and I'd like for us to focus on the first four verses this morning. So this is a royal psalm. It is a prayer for the king as well as a charge to the king. And of course, the central notions here have to do with God's justice and God's righteousness. So let's read Psalm 72, 1 through 4. Give the king your justice, O God, and your righteousness to a king's son. May he judge your people with righteousness and your poor with justice. May the mountains yield prosperity for the people, and the hills in righteousness. May he defend the cause of the poor of the people, give deliverance to the needy, and crush the oppressor. So, as I said, this prayer for the king consists of both specific prayers for the king and charges to the king. That is, the way in which the king is supposed to rule. And the key concepts here are justice and righteousness. And while on the one hand, we're not given specific instances here of what exactly is meant by justice and righteousness, that is, specific examples. However, we do know and are not surprised to find that it has something to do with the poor. In fact, the poor are mentioned twice, once in verse 2 and once in verse 4. In verse 2, it has to do with the poor receiving justice. And in verse 4, it has to do with defending the cause of the poor of the people, and also giving deliverance to those who are in need, as well as crushing the oppressor, putting a stop to the activities of the oppressor. Now, what results from this is shalom, or peace and prosperity. I mentioned last night in the Bible study that we have a tendency to think of prosperity as lots of economic success, but the word prosperity in the Hebrew Bible is also very closely tied up with peace, that is, with conditions that are peaceful for people. And of course, that means here making certain that people have what they need, that they are delivered from their oppressors, and peace is that's what peace constitutes, is that deliverance. So I love this gospel, this psalm, because it is such a central part of the Christian gospel, the notion that justice and righteousness come from God, that these are heavenly attributes, but they are for earthly disbursement. They are to be found on earth as they are in heaven. And this psalm really emphasizes that fact, that is, that justice and righteousness are from God, but they are to be found here among us on earth. Let's close with this word of prayer from Richard Baxter, who was a fairly well-known Puritan from the 17th century, a leader of the nonconformist church in England. Lord, I yield. I am overcome. O blessed conquest. Go on victoriously, and still prevail and triumph in your love. This captive of love will proclaim your victory when you lead me in triumph from earth to heaven, from death to life, from the tribunal to the throne. I will acknowledge that you have prevailed, and all will say, Behold how he loved him. Let neither life nor death nor anything separate me from your love. Keep me in the fullness of love forever. Amen. Thank you for joining me this morning from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and I hope that you have a very good day. Goodbye.